the window had been busted out and part of our gear had been stolen.
There's nowhere to play up here at all.
I'm sitting there kind of by myself, like waiting for my manners, and the mirrors, like the mirrors kind of like spin open like 90 degrees, like they kind of rotate open, and all these women in sexy lingerie can come walking out from behind the mirrors.
I'm just gonna throw this out there that it almost sounded like you were kind of the dark side sometimes of the scene.
Just when I'd parted ways with Monuments, and so it was really, really desperate time of my life.
At the end of it, our bass player told us, like, he just looked at us like, yeah, this is my last show.
So, like, basically back to the Beast era.
Dealing with this alcohol intake, and we're at a Christian festival, and we're supposed to be a Christian band. I was kind of like, man, this sucks. This is not a good look.
Welcome back to Dark Side of the Scene. I'm your host, Braden, alongside Ed.
What's up?
Not much.
So I got done with this Willow show on Disney Plus before I got on here, and I was actually glad because the show was torture. And I posted on Facebook how terrible it is because nobody's actually posted any spoilers about it because it's that bad, or nobody cares. But they'll spoil any other show for you. Fuck you, people who do that. But
one of my friends did that. Not to interrupt, but I was in the theater to go watch the new Star Wars when it first like the Force Awakens. So this was whatever how many years ago this was, and I was scrolling through and I seen his post and it ruined like one of the big turning points in that movie. I was like, this motherfucker.
That's not cool. I don't care. Like, don't do that shit for people.
Yeah, that was a straight dick because I went to like the 9 o'clock one and he went to the 6 o'clock one and he fucking just posted it right after.
Oh, God.
You fuckhead.
Yeah, that's the whole point of movies is to, you want to be surprised and wowed. And they don't want the cheap version of it on Facebook.
So that was my mistake of looking through Facebook waiting for the movie to start.
Oh no. It's a shitty move. But anyway, yeah, like I said, finished the show. It was terrible. But then it made me think, like, I don't know, randomly came up that I think I read in an article that the metal band Nile had once submitted music so they could try to be on the original Mummy, the Brendan Fraser one, the first one, to be on their soundtrack. And they got denied. I mean, I guess A for effort, but fuck Hollywood, like the Mummy, I don't think it's even historically accurate. I think they just wanted to make a plot and then make the sets as like authentically Egyptian looking, but I don't really think they had any basis on anything, in real life. But I feel like Nile actually goes and researches their lyrical content and, makes, I mean, I don't know how much of their stuff is true or not, but it's based on things that stories they read. And that's cool that for the effort, but to be denied a band that actually does work on their own Egyptian thing just because they sound like a huge train with growling. Come on. I mean, that would have been, I think they deserve that. They should have. So I guess it's not really a rant, but I was wondering if any other bands have ever tried to get on a soundtrack and what the process of that was like, or if they got on. That'd be interesting to hear, I think,
Basically not being accepted because of the material that they play. Because at that point, metal music's not considered. That movie came out, like 25 years ago or some
Probably, shit? Yeah, I was a young shit. I remember that. And I was like, that would have been cool if Nile would have made it on there.
Yeah.
But like in the 80s was full of like heavy metal movies. Like,
things really change perspectives, I think. I don't know too many movies throughout the 90s that really had too much metal, like they had probably new metal. And then into the 2000s and up to where we are now, you don't really hear a whole lot of real metal in anything anymore.
Dude, don't get me started why metal died. As soon as like grunge came out, I was an angry kid, and like I still don't like grunge because of that. Like I had some documentary about thrash metal. Like all the thrash metal guys brought on all these grunge metal bands, and once the grunge metal bands got on bigger, they just forgot all about the metal guys. That pisses me off, and that should not surprise me. So I'm not gonna get around on that kind of shit. So
Oh, it's all good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I don't like grunge music at all. I just it makes me feel dirty. I don't know.
Well, to anyone out there listening, if you've encountered anything that we've talked about, if you can reach out to darksideofthescene.com, well, that is the website where you can find the podcast. You can send an email to Brandon at darksideofthescene.com, and that's how you can reach out to us. But
Does that actually work? Like the without being word of mouth, do people actually emailed you that you've never heard of?
I've been emailed by a few people, but I don't know if they've seen post or what. But
Oh, okay.
that is the way to get a hold of this show. We are booking episodes. We are completely booked for a while. So if you want to get on this show, you're gonna have to hurry up and send that email because it could be a pretty long waiting period.
Hmm.
But we've got a guy waiting to come on in here, so we're gonna bring him on in. So hang tight. I'd like to take the time to welcome our guest to the show tonight. Mark, thanks for coming out and talking to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yep, definitely.
Right on. Is your last name related to the famous director, or just have that in the last name?
What now?
The Gunn, the gun.
Yeah, no, that's my real last name.
Oh, okay, you're not related to that famous director.
Not that I'm aware of. I
Okay.
haven't been invited to any weddings or birthday parties.
What a dick.
I tell you. But yeah, no, that's the real last name, not a stage
Okay.
name or anything.
Okay, cool.
You
Not
could have been
not like some phony director. Yeah.
you could have been in one of those Marvel movies or something.
Oh yeah. Well, they'd have to do a lot on the CGI to make me buff.
I need that.
AI will do it for you.
All right. It's true.
What a world we live in.
Yeah.
So want to tell a little bit about yourself, like what you've been involved in, anything like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, basically, the little blurb I sent you kind of just outlines it. Like, basically, was born in. Are you guys in Northeast Indiana?
No. Yeah. Or well, more north. Yeah. I think I'm north.
I'm in North Central Indiana, like not too north of Kokomo.
Oh, okay. So basically, though, Indiana. So, like, yeah, from here, kind of just did bands and stuff all through high school and out of high school, and then at some point I was in a band, and we had a couple members that wanted to move out to Arizona, and I said, "Me too." So packed up the Nova, took like my last $500, and moved to the big city.
Nice.
The big city in the desert.
Yeah, yep, and yeah, that was a lot of fun, and was out there for about 22 years.
Oh.
And then the beast happened.
Oh man.
And that, and also I was renting a house, and the housing market was definitely a seller's market at this time. So like pretty much the owner of the house wanted to sell. There was no work getting done. So it's either be homeless in Phoenix or kind of just swallow the pride and come back home.
Oh man. Yeah, and at least 22 years, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like I moved out there like the fall of '98.
Wow.
And so yeah, I was having a pretty good time out there.
What was the scene like there?
I mean, it just depends on what you're into, you know, like when I got down there, like it was like big on like house DJs, break beats, you know, the club scene there was, I mean, it's a college town, so that was going to be pretty popping. There was a couple of kind of, I'd say sort of famous metal-y bands that kind of came out from there.
Right.
and like they had like a little bit of their own scene going on there. Like it was oh gosh, guys from Soulfly had like a house out that way.
Hmm.
So like yeah, I mean metal's good, big there. Then like for some reason everybody in that city really loves Social Distortion.
Hmm.
Like yeah, like that's I don't know if they're from there or not, but like they were super huge there. Punk scene there is pretty big.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I mean it's like the fifth largest city in the nation, so there was always something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there was Glendale area is where Job for a Cowboy, the deathcore band, came out of.
Okay, I haven't heard of them, but I've heard of Glendale. That place, I never really liked going to that town. Not a whole lot going on in Glendale.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it said they were from.
Okay. Yep. That's it's on the west side of the valley.
No, I'm not real sure. I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with the area.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I'll get you guys clued in. I'll send you over a map and everything.
I've been out there a couple times, but they all look the same to me.
I have family in like Tucson that some of them I never met. So, maybe one day I'll go out there. Maybe I'll like get stuck there.
Tucson's a cool town too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to some old airplane graveyard in Tucson, I think.
Really?
Oh yeah. No, I've seen the pictures of that. That's like this massive decommissioned airplane lot
That's
that
there?
goes on
Yeah.
for
Really?
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and looked at some of them and stuff, but other than that, I just remember driving for like 3 hours through flat desert looking area.
You finding aliens? Damn. Oh well.
No, I was going the wrong direction. I needed to go up north of Vegas.
So basically the beast like made you forced you to relocate. So how's that been going for you in general?
I mean, it is what it is. I
Right.
still kind of want to get back out to Arizona because, I mean, when you kind of weigh the two to, next to each other, it's like Phoenix, Fort Wayne, Phoenix, Fort like
yeah.
it's kind of no contest on that one. But I mean, it's awesome to be like being able to kick it with family and everything. Old high school friends and stuff. So,
Nice.
but yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, just kind of just working, trying to save up and make my great escape at some point.
Gotcha. So trying to think. Any crazy band experiences while you're out there for like that long,
I mean, I mean, there was a lot of fun stuff going on there. So like, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of partying with us, I mean, there's been a couple of times where, like you did like, get dicked over by a club owner, but like the way we handled that is like we told all our friends and they never really got to book any of our friends after that. So like that was the good thing about like a jam scene out in Arizona or in Phoenix in particular, just because it was small enough that we all knew each other. And so like yeah, it was just a lot of fun, a lot of partying, a lot of hangovers.
I haven't had one of those in a long time.
They kind of suck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It proves your age when they get worse, and then you just feel like a piece of shit the next day. And I'm like, back.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I had one right around Christmas time when my company Christmas party.
That'll teach you.
Well, I pre-gamed in the motel room.
Oh,
that was really stupid of me.
Right.
Are you a liquor guy or a wine guy, beer guy?
I'm really not much of a drinker guy. So we pre-gamed with I was making Jaeger bombs because that's my kind of go-to thing.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an alcoholic speedball there.
Yeah, so I think I did about 8, like over a 2-hour period. And
Okay.
then
Damn.
I went downstairs and like, yeah, I fucked up. And my wife's with me, so we're trying to like get to the food and everything because it's like really high class Christmas party. They paid for our motel room in this big ritzy motel in Indianapolis, and everything else, like the booze was free, but I'm picky, so
Yeah, and probably don't want to make an ass of yourself there either.
yeah. So I was just trying. I ended up having to pay for all my drinks because I guess maybe I didn't like the free beer that they had. It was like a strange in how they had like Coors Light or like Budweiser, which is usually what I would drink.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have that. Like you would have to pay for it. And so I was like, well, if I'm gonna pay for it, I'm just gonna drink Tom Collins, which no one knew what the fuck Tom Collins was. So I had to explain to them what that was. And then I ended up spending like 100 something bucks at the bar.
All right, happy hour hero over here.
Yeah.
Right.
So then the next day I woke up, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's not like when you're in your 20s where you can just like have a hangover and have it be done by like midday. You know,
What kind of fancy food do they have anyway?
That's a
fancy
place
food.
that's the place I was at.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
They had these weird steak strips, and that's all I really ate. They had a lot of like
Steak strip.
they had like shrimp, and they had it's all stuffed like they had like salmon, I think, was part of the meal. I don't eat fish or anything like that, so I didn't eat it. And then they had some weird vegetable stuff that I couldn't even tell you what it was. And they had like cauliflower steaks. Never heard of that shit before, but they just like grilled cauliflower. I was like, this isn't steak.
Oh, it must have been for the non-meat eaters.
Yeah, I don't know. They most of the stuff that they had is apparently was really good, but I'm very picky, and I was like, if it's not coming from an animal, I guess I'm not eating it. So
Nice.
I
Yeah. So back to Mark. So how's things musically been for you now then? Like now that you're back in Fort Wayne?
I mean, pretty laid back. I have my guitars that are readily accessible, but I haven't really sat down behind any drums for gosh, a couple of years now.
Hmm.
So hopefully that's like riding the bike, and we'll have to relearn a bunch of stuff.
Are you mostly a drummer or a guitar player?
Mostly a drummer, I'd say, but like
I'm surprised you haven't found work in Fort Wayne because there's a lot of bands needing drummers, as far as I know. Yeah.
I guess it's also having me have the desire to actually seek it out. Yeah, I've kind of just been kind of just laying low a lot, doing a lot more music production on the computer. Like I got Ableton as like my DAW, so like I'll make up like some beats there. Done like a song for my sister's web page, so that was like something where I had to break out the guitar and then like uh, do like the bass line, you know, on the virtual synth, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like kind of just doing things here and there, but like kind of just also taking it a little easier because like there was a good probably close to like 15 years where I was in one band or two, and it was just all, you know, all bled in with each other, you know. So kind of just taking advantage of the break time.
Yeah. So like, were you more versed in that stuff before the Beast, or did the Beast kind of push you to do stuff on your own more?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of always been into like doing like music production and stuff like that. Like I grew up and my dad had like, you know, like old standalone drum machines, so I'd go in and be able to like punch out a beat on like the grid and, you know, like program beats and that sort of thing. So I think probably around 2005 I finally like had somebody kick me down a cracked version of Ableton, so learned on that, and also Reason. So it's kind of started back there where I was actually like more of a more professional approach to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't start really tinkering with recording as much until like during the downtime, which I should have got into it longer time ago. But like, what could I do? I'm in a band and we couldn't do anything, no shows, no barely getting together. So it's like, well, I could probably do this. I could see all these kids on YouTube that come out with albums. Like, I can't be, I can't be stood up like that. I mean, I'm still not I'm not excellent performer or excuse me, producer or whatever by any means. But I can make okay demos, which is what matters because that's what I handed the rest of the band. I'm like, hey, look, we'll try to learn this. I'll try not to make it too ridiculous, especially for a drummer. With the
Right.
I don't want parts for with to do with 8 hands, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's like isn't that what Meshuggah does too? It was like that band from some Scandinavian country where they'll like go into their computers and like write out some crazy like 13/8, polyrhythm and like, here, play this.
Sometimes I wonder if that was a happy accident. They didn't mean to write it like that, and it just came out wrong, and then he started playing it that. Who knows?
I don't know. Those guys are pretty crazy.
I said, Meshuggah, if you're listening, you want to be on a podcast,
Oh, yeah. We got to put it in code words.
Oh.
No, that's cool.
No, I'm at the real band. But nice.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of what it is there. Like, I mean, like if you're wanting to demo something, if you're good enough to do that, I mean, that's all you really need unless you're like trying to up it to the next echelon,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's common with other genres, but I know recently, and I don't know if it's beast related or not, I think a lot of it kind of probably is, but a lot of people have been doing a lot of solo stuff. And I think once they get everything done, then they look for live members. But for the most part, I think a lot of people are writing their own material themselves, programming everything, getting their own like demos out there, and then maybe trying to find people that want to add to it.
Right, kind of fill in the space.
Yeah,
and on the backside. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I guess I did kind of see something like that too when the beast was cracking. But like, I mean, there's no substitution for like collaboration. Like I always found like I played more compelling music when somebody else had their ideas thrown in with it.
Yeah.
I consider this thing kind of a product of the beast era because podcasting, I don't like stuff like Zoom and everything else, like what we use for here. I don't think this was nearly as popular until that happened when everyone started having to work from home and everything else. So I think that's how I.
Well, I mean, that's where I kind of found out about it. But I mean, there was like, because one of the things I did like out in Arizona was AV technician, and I was at a resort, and so like they were starting to do like some like a teleconferencing where they were like actually setting up like cameras, in the boardrooms, and like got to make sure you get the solid internet connection because you don't want to drop a call because these are like Fortune 500 companies that are looking for any reason not to cut you a check.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like definitely for like Zoom and the FaceTime and stuff like that, they definitely came out at the right time.
Yeah, I have Microsoft Teams for work purposes. And then I was looking into things, and I don't know if Teams does this or not, but Zoom actually saves all the audio. I was like, well, I'll just use that because seems like a good way to have interviews without having to have someone sitting next to me, like interviewing them that way. Like I could interview anybody at this point. So that's what got me started doing the whole Zoom thing. And I don't think Zoom would have been popular had it not been for the beast. So
it definitely did not hurt its popularity.
No.
I feel like we've come full circle from like the whole theory about Demolition Man being our. Why did I stutter that? Demolition Man being our future, like the whole movie. Like we got like, I feel like Taco Bell is pretty much winning a lot of the food franchises because not too many people complain about the Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is definitely not winning everything there.
Well, I mean,
not in my book.
No, I mean not, but like it's one of the more popular ones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then like there's at one point he's having a quote unquote Zoom call on monitors, and this was like early 90s. So, and all the screens are watching the guy because he's having a little,
Right.
board meeting.
Wasn't that like a comic book too before it was a movie?
Probably, yeah, I'm pretty sure most unoriginal things that Hollywood makes usually a book or a comic because they can't come up with
Right.
their own shit. And I'm trying to think, well, we don't have the self-driving cars. Well, actually we do if you could afford one, but I can't. So
Yeah, yeah. Those still have a little ways to go though before they're like can just be like
yeah.
willy nilly out on the streets, you know.
Didn't some of the self-driving cars actually run somebody over?
Yep, in Tempe, Arizona.
Were you involved in that?
I wasn't involved, but I know where it happened and I heard all about it. But yeah, that was basically the cars aren't like the sensors aren't sensitive enough, you know, at the time to like be able to like pick up on some random lady running out into the middle of the street.
No, well, she shouldn't have done that if she saw a car coming.
Right, right. And she might have been tweaked out or something. I don't know. But yeah.
And then
she just wanted to be on the other side of the road.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of other little connections with that movie. Well, we can still cuss, but we are getting censored like a motherfucker. Like if you got on Facebook and you say something random, most likely you get thrown a flag, depending on what it is. And then they ban you or some BS. And then we got, I don't know if everybody is like homeless like they are in the movie, living underground, but I feel like that's just normal anyway. Like,
well,
I don't know why I brought this movie into this conversation.
Here's a little bit about the censoring of what Facebook has been doing. So if you're out there listening, Fuckerberg, fuck you. Anyways, when I shared a video for the YouTube, if you have a Facebook page, it'll show you who's actually viewed it. Like it'll show you like it's been seen by so many people.
The analytics on YouTube.
Yeah, it says this post has reached so many people. If I posted something just like a random post without the video, it said it was seen by like, I thought it said 100 and something had viewed it or saw it, like, and then I posted the video and it said 8 people had saw it. I was like, so basically because I posted a link to a YouTube, it kept down the amount of views. But if I posted something that didn't have like a photo or didn't have like anything too particular, they let that be seen by a lot more people because they want you to pay them, because they always have boost your post. They want you to pay them money so more people see your post. They're like, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, their basis of their business model is through advertising. You know, yeah. I mean, same thing with like YouTube. Like, there's no way that something that size could operate and exist in this day and age without selling advertising.
Yeah,
which sucks because I remember when it didn't have advertising and it was way cooler. But you know, it's like
I don't care to say this out loud and admit to it. If they ever offer to monetize the podcast for put random advertisements on there, I'm going to sell out. So if everyone else is making money, I'm tired of having to pay to do this podcast. I would like to at least get my $40 to $50 a month that I have to spend to keep this thing going.
Yeah, as you said. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, let's get Taco Bell advertisements on your show.
Hell yeah. Even though I got food poisoning from them last year, but I'll say hell yeah.
It wasn't the Taco Bell, Ed. Remember, they listened to everything.
Oh yeah, that's true. Whoops. It was not the Taco Bell. It was the McDonald's. Fuck you, McDonald's.
Yeah, nobody likes.
Anyway, so McDonald's is like that person. Was it how? That's that. What's that analogy? No,
McDonald's is like the meta of fast food.
The meta.
The metaverse.
I don't know.
Ronald McDonald's going to show up to your house one day with a fucking gun now.
I went. You know, on a previous podcast, I said I went to like Catholic Mexican church, and like, well, our priest was a white guy who spoke Spanish, And I always thought he looked like Ronald McDonald without the makeup, and I don't know why.
So you have like a red fro.
No, like just like white hair, and I don't know. Like I figured that's what he looked like without, Ronald without the makeup, and I don't know why. And I told a couple of other people, and my grandma didn't think it was funny because she was hardcore Catholic, but anyway, off topic. So life of Ed. Anyway, trying to think, Mark. So, yeah, I'm trying to hear some more dark side of your story here. I mean, so far it's just you got
All fun and games.
Yeah, well,
I
up
mean,
until
like,
the beast came and ruined that for you in a way.
yeah. So
Um,
I mean, there's definitely some other things in there. I mean, like I don't know. Did you check out any of them with the blurb that I wrote, or any questions on that? Or
Ed doesn't actually see the emails.
oh, sorry, Ed.
yeah,
It was
I don't do any.
Brandon, right?
Yeah, I don't do any research. I just try to come with like fresh ears to all the guests we have.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
No, I'd seen like you
But-
joined some bands or whatever, but I don't remember anything in there that actually like stood out as far as like some of the bad stuff you've encountered. You just said some of the projects you'd been in. So
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm really letting you guys down here.
No, fine.
no. You said you were in I'm looking at it now. Basically, you're in an electro funk band called Baraka.
Yeah.
Not nice.
Yeah, basically, our guitarist kind of said it best. We sounded like James Brown, but with computers and without James Brown. So I always thought that was pretty apt. And yeah, that was a fun band. Basically, I was in the band Fatty Acids prior to that. And the two guys, we'll call them B and J. And yeah, they just moved from like Minneapolis, and they're like, "Hey, you should play drums with us." And it's like, "Well, I'm already in a band." And he's like, "All right, So like, I think he asked me like probably like 5 to 10 times just being out at like the club, and like, he's like, and finally he's like, "Okay, you know what, persistence paid off, so went and jammed with them." And yeah, that one was a pretty fun one. We started playing in a lot of different places because prior to that Fatty Acids was kind of like I'd say kind of like a jam band, kind of like Fish kind of deal. So, and then this one was a little different, and but yeah, that's where we started branching out and like playing with like different DJs and other different bands, and that's kind of around the time when like bands like Lotus was coming up, Soundtribe Sector 9 was already had a name for themselves, so there was a little bit of room for that, where like you have bands that like play instruments but also have their laptops on stage with them. And me just being a bass fiend, of course I'm going to eat that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, oh, here's one I got for you. So like we did one show at this place out in Mesa called we'll just call it the GS Saloon. And so basically we're doing our show, had our friend Miguel open up, fake name by the way, and then basically we're kind of like doing a little head count, and so okay, end of the night, the pay looks a lot wimpier than it should have been. And so we were like, and then like the owner gets in our guitarist's face and it's like, "You call me a fucking liar," trying to like, trying to beef up on him, trying to like, give him the works. And so we're like, well, that's pretty fucked up. Like, I don't know if we really want to like squash this relationship just yet, so like, let's talk to the guy. Maybe he was just having a shit night, who knows, the owner of the club.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we had our friend who's just like the sweetest teddy bear, but you know people that just have those faces that look mean.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is this dude, just big, probably like 260, face like that. Sweet guy, super sweet guy. I love that guy. And so like we kind of just walked into the next day or whenever it was to the bar owner's office, and we're like, okay, so you want to run over some numbers? It's like, so yeah, that was kind of fun.
So did you know about this bar prior, or this was the first time you played there? I mean, did it have a decent rep?
This is like a club that we would play quite a bit, and like multiples of my bands would play there. So it was kind of out of character for him to like try and pull like the fast one. You know what I mean?
Did you play there afterward again, or did you stop playing pulling fast ones? Okay, so that dude straightened him out, huh?
Yeah, just by being there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like you kind of going on a honor system, like we hope they're not screwing us because like why, like I don't know.
I mean,
Sometimes it's
it
a
just
mixed
seems like
bag.
a short-term advantage, like
Yeah.
it's not going to work out in the long run for you, like that sort of behavior.
Right.
So it just doesn't. I mean, if you're just trying to make a quick buck and get out, I mean, I can see that. But
If you're the actual like owner of the business, you're making money off of your alcohol sales. And if you're
the door should go all to the band.
Yeah.
The talent,
Yeah. You should split the door between the bands, and the rest of it you're making off of your alcohol sales, because more than likely you're bringing in more people because you have music going on. So, but trying to explain that business model to a lot of these owners doesn't seem to resonate, at least in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it also depends if like the owner is a music lover or even a musician, like that's actually been down in the dirt, and did actually played bars before, you know what I mean?
There's a bar here in our area, well, my area, that I was actually supposed to be doing like the heavier shows there, like booking in more metal bands and stuff, but the beast happened, so I only booked one show. Then the place got shut down for a while. It's back up running again. They've got shows going on, but I might talk to him soon about bringing in bands, because at the moment I'm not currently doing anything.
I was gonna say, how come he didn't ask you? Maybe he thought you died.
No,
No,
I just haven't talked to him in like 3 years now, just because
he died.
everything that went on, and like with all that bullshit and the shutdowns and everything else,
Right.
like, and to be honest, when we kind of folded up for the time being, it was just like, well, I'm not too interested in doing anything at the moment, because what is the point when no one else seems to want to do it, if that makes any sense? Like, and I don't know.
So like the enthusiasm's just not there on people's parts.
I lost a lot of interest in it because I felt like no one was going to show up, and I didn't want to put all my effort into something, because it wasn't like I was getting paid to do it.
Right.
It was just me on my own time bringing in things for his benefit. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a bummer, man.
Like I said, it's a thing that I'm not totally against, but at the same point, if I'm going to put my time and energy into it, I think I should get something out of it. But that's just me.
One mixed drink. Thank you.
Pay me with a Jaeger bomb.
No, that kind of stress is not worth the Jaeger bomb, but yeah, I get you.
Like I said, I don't mind doing it just to do it, because I thought it would be helpful to bring in decent bands to the area. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not asking to get paid, but at the same time, it's like.
So are you like trying to like fill the shoes of the promoter there?
That's kind of what it was I felt like he was asking for me to do would basically just he would like to have metal shows again because he likes that type of music, and a lot of people around here like that type of stuff. And for a while, they did more hip hop than anything. So
Mhm.
he'd like to bring back some of the heavier bands because it always drew good for him as well. So we did a couple shows, and Ed actually played one of the last shows that we had there, and it was a decent turnout. And then I
Also,
did
it was Halloween also, so that
yeah,
helped. Yeah. Huh.
and then I did one in January during a snowstorm. It actually had a decent turnout. And then, like I said, come March, everything kind of closed up for however many months it was. And then after that, like I said, I just haven't been involved in anything. So, like, he hasn't reached out to me, and I haven't volunteered to
I I
reach out
wonder
either.
if they'll be. I wonder if they'll be huge now because people really want to be doing things again. I wonder. Huh.
Yeah. I may talk to him. I'm planning on going up there. There's a show this upcoming weekend that I'm going to go up to, and I think Ed's coming up to as well. So I might talk to the guy and be like, look, if you're still wanting to get things going on, I can, I've got connections to where I can help arrange that. But,
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, that
yeah.
it
No,
not
'cause,
about
like,
me.
it seems
Not
like
about me.
other places seems like it's really picked back up. You know, like definitely a lot of, well, for me at least, because like on Facebook, I'm still connected with a lot of my Arizona friends, and yeah, they were just like, it's just like it's just overkill how many shows they got going through
Mm.
there.
Yeah.
You know, people are definitely like ready to pick up on that fumble and run with it.
And I know like a lot of like national, like okay, like I'm a metal guy, obviously, and also some of them national acts that I see lately have been pretty busy. Like, damn, like what was it back in was it December or November? Like Cannibal Corpse came through town, and that place was fucking packed, and it was like a Thursday night or a Monday. I think it was Monday or something. Like, holy
Okay,
crap, it was like packed. It was ridiculous.
Cannibal
Like,
Corpse on a school night.
Campbell Corners school night. It was just packed. Like, oh my god, I'm surprised it did not sell out. And this Pierre's over there, so it's like huge. And it was
Mhm.
wall to wall full of people. I'm like, wow, I was really proud of Indiana a lot. You know, I was happy. It's like, oh,
I was
it's
only at
it's
Pierre's once.
you should go. You should go often. It's a good time.
Said I saw shadows fall there. It was like the
Oh,
third or
you
fourth
should,
time I seen
we
them.
should call in. You should call in Wednesday because Morbid Angel's playing Tuesday night.
Next Tuesday.
Yes, this coming Tuesday actually.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I won't be able to do that.
I know, but I know responsibilities. I get it.
No.
I'd ask nobody to do that.
Well, I won't be working that day. I just got personal matters to attend to.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'll Zoom call for Morbid Angel for you. Anyway,
Ask them if they want to be on an episode.
now that guy is interesting. Like this is totally random, but like I found the guitar player's YouTube channel, and he's an interesting guy. Let me tell you, he walks around with like a doll, a Barbie doll of some sort, tied up with duct tape as like a prisoner, and he's talking for her. I'm like, wow, I don't
Kind
know.
of like a voodoo doll kind of thing.
Not a voodoo doll, but like he's just being funny. It's like,
Okay.
oh, where are we going today, Miss Sally? Oh, I don't know. We'll go to the gas station. So they went
Okay, so
to,
at least there's
yeah,
some sort of irony into him
there-
actually carrying that thing around.
yeah. It's just a trippy guy. And then like somehow a guy from a show talked him into going to the old lady's house that's apparently haunted. So him and his little crew go into some person's house and it's filthy nasty. I mean, this is not rehearsed. And they go in the basement. It's all trash. And the people that are with him are freaked out by it. But he's like, "No, man, I'm gonna wait for the ghost. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette right here and wait for a ghost to come out." I'm like, "This is the guy from Morbid Angel." I'm like, I subscribe to that channel quick. So I don't know. Anyway, that's totally unrelated, but like, so yeah, some people are interesting as
Yeah,
far as like, yeah, like all the people in bands that you don't think they are, but they're kind of, yeah, different.
I think at this
Um,
point in life, people have to be, especially if they are in a band that's always on the road.
yeah, I guess so. Did you ever, Mark? Did you ever like have any like weekend warrior shows like Like when you took your band out for a whole weekend, hit a couple of
Um,
clubs, something like anything
I mean,
crazy like
yeah,
that.
we done a couple things where like would like I'd be working sound at a festival and then to have a band come in and we'd set up and play.
Are you a sound guy?
Yeah,
And they need sound guys too everywhere in case you ever wanted to make a quick buck. By the way.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's the thought. I've been talking to some guy around here in town that seems to know everybody. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah, just yeah, would do that, and like some of those parties were just they're pretty labor intensive.
Mm.
It's like going out to the middle of the desert and for 3 nights just partying. You know,
I can't imagine that. Like that would be actually fun because I don't know.
yeah. I mean, emergency response time is a lot lagged when you further out you go. So
Mm.
a
Mm.
lot of things you can get away with.
Maybe you can, if you've ever heard it. This is completely off topic for music, but it does kind of go back into this. Have you ever heard of the parties that they have randomly out in the deserts to where they're almost, I don't want to call it gothic or vampires, but they're like strange, like weird parties they have. They got like music going on and like they have DJ set up and stuff going out there, but people are like raving, but they're like,
But
it's
they're
almost
kind of
like,
goth.
yeah, they're like
Yeah.
a goth rave where there's like blood and like weird stuff going on.
I mean, I've
What?
seen like
Hmm.
flyers for parties like that where they're kind of like the S&M parties. That never really made it out to any of those, but I mean, like they would have those parties at clubs, but that's the first I've heard of any like bondage S&M party out in the middle of the desert.
So I've heard of stuff. I've listened to another podcast, and it's not a music related podcast, but the person that was talking about I think they were being abducted out there by like these people or whatever, and they said it was like a vampire cult type thing. These people were trying to like drink each other's blood and all sorts of stuff. I was like, that sounds like they're just having a bad trip. But you said it was out in the deserts between like I forget where it was, but I've heard of other stories about it too. Like there's always these weird, crazy parties that they're out in the middle of nowhere because it's the desert. There's really nothing out there. So
Yeah. You basically got to bring in generator, your all the sound gear.
I'd worry about like getting shit and dust in my stuff. Mm.
Yeah. I have a friend out in Phoenix that like has like basically a system called the Danley system, and basically he has like last time he set it up where I was at the same party, he brought like 10 directional subs, which was just like insane, and it's up near Flagstaff. But like he basically after the party, it's like probably like Tuesday or Wednesday following, he's like posting up a video of him just taking a hose to like these humongous subwoofers, just cleaning out all the gunk. Yeah, so apparently a hose works to clean them. So
I would hope that's worth the money for that. Damn, that sounds like a lot of work cleaning up those. Yeah,
oh yeah, but that system sounds way nice.
I bet it does. I know when he said gothic and blood, I don't know. I thought of like the steampunk kind of like Mad Max parties, but I don't know if that's
I don't know if that,
another.
like I said,
Well,
I didn't
that'd be
see
like
photos
Burning
of.
Man shit right
Is
there.
that what that is? Okay, I didn't know.
Well,
I've
Burning
heard
Man,
of it.
they set up like a little geo something. I can't remember the actual name of it. Geodesic dome, and basically like the last couple videos I've seen from it is like people are dressing up in like those inflatable T-Rex suits and like kind of like doing like a Mad Max battle in the middle of this dome, at like one of the biggest parties on the planet.
I want to be Master Blaster. I don't give a fuck. Hmm. Nice. So I'm trying to. So basically, like you basically had a healthy scene out there, and you obviously there was always something to do because of
I mean,
yeah.
it was healthy compared to, I mean, maybe a smaller town, but like, I mean, like if you went 6 or 8 hours west, you're getting like San Diego and LA, where they have real scenes.
But that's not too far from you though. Like realistically, right? You said
Yeah, 6 to 8 hours. Like
yeah,
6 hours to
it's
San
not bad.
Diego, 8 hours
No.
to LA,
Yeah,
and
nice.
4 hours on the LA freeway system.
No, that
Vegas is
no.
what, like 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, Vegas could be kind of fun if you're like going up just for a show. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the only times I ever really went up to Vegas.
We were in Vegas during Beast era, my wife and I, and it's strange. We got screamed at because the mask was not covering our nose, but you could smoke a big fat blunt on the side of the road next to a cop, and they did not care. I was like, "This is weird times we live in. It's okay to partake in the devil's lettuce, but damn it, make sure your mask is covering your nose."
Well, I mean, I think Nevada voted that to make that recreational.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You could get it and walk around, and
Well, I
it's all
mean, even before it was voted recreational, I mean, people would
Yeah.
still be doing that in Vegas.
no.
Yeah, I've definitely done my fair share of fear and loathing in that town.
That would be that trying to relive that whole movie would be not good for me. I don't think.
That used to be one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Neither have I, but when I do, like it's like I pick up on something new. I'm like, oh, oh,
Yeah, they got like all these little subtle jokes that like it takes a couple watches to like pick up on a lot of it.
Didn't they just make one a few years ago that was another Hunter S. Thompson movie with Johnny Depp?
Was it that Rum Diary?
I think so. I never watched it.
Yeah, no, I think I just watched that one the other week. Like I had it on. I had a girlfriend that was way into movies, and she like kicked me down like several gigs of movies, and
Nice.
that was one of them. And it's like, yeah, that's a funny movie, man.
Yeah, I've never checked it out.
Yeah, but yeah, that guy, Hunter S. Thompson, that guy was a nut.
a little bit from what I could gather.
Hey, he helped launch the Vin Sevenfold into mainstream just because they had that song Backcountry and then ripped off the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie for their music video.
I did never notice that.
Yeah, the song
I don't know about that one.
I said, this was back in like 2005, and I really liked Avenged Sevenfold's old stuff. But then they came out with City of Evil, and that's when they don't do any screaming. It's all singing and everything else. And that was like their main, I think they're signed to like Epic Records or something, and that was their big hit, Backcountry. But the video's straight up a ripoff of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I'll have to watch that.
Cool.
I just knew like he tore his voice up and he got voice lessons from the guy from James Hetfield. So that's probably what.
Is that true, or is that just a rumor? I've heard that story, but I've never seen him ever confirm that.
James Hetfield has a voice trainer.
No.
don't know. I think there is one that like helps them. Kind of like there's actually a female that helps the metal screamers scream.
The Zen of Screaming. I have that DVD
her.
somewhere. It never worked for me. I
don't like the breathing thing because then it feels like yoga. I'm never gonna learn how to scream then. Oh well.
I don't think I do it properly, but it seems to do okay.
Huh.
Until I no longer have a voice, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
is there anything else you really want to talk about that like stands out to you?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I thought no, I should have probably took a little better notes. Probably had some talking points written down. But yeah, no, I failed you guys on that one.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, no, like, but you know, like basically, like you kind of had a. Well, I mean, the worst part for you is like you enjoyed yourself in Arizona, and then the Beast era came and just swept that from under your feet, and now you're just slowly trying to get back to where you were, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, but there's also like, it's not all fun and games just because it is rock and roll. There are going to be casualties, so like definitely like lost a couple of friends down the path.
Yeah,
you know, and but that's kind of part of life too.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's just kind of the things that we talk about is it's not uncommon because there's only so many episodes that have been aired so far, but we've recorded probably like 10 or so more since what's aired. And a lot of the stuff that everyone's talked about, they all are similar in stories. Like everyone experiences something differently, but they're all the same common themes. Like everyone deals with the same issues, but no one really ever talks about it.
Right, right.
So that's the hope of this podcast is to appeal to those that are out there that, you know what, you're not the only ones going through it. There's a lot of people that go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. While there are differences, there are similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So there's that. And then like also, spending a good portion of that time out there in abject poverty was always fun,
Yeah.
And then yeah, but I mean, I don't think I'd change a single thing about any of it.
I always feel like out there, at least Scottsdale area, it's very uppity. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely correct. Scottsdale is kind of known for its lavishness. Yeah, like Old Town Scottsdale's got all kinds of like clubs and everything. Some of the best sushi places though are going to be in North Scottsdale, but you don't eat fish. So, but I mean, like basically Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. There was another one that was kind of very schmanchy where you have like homes that are several $1 million, and that's the run of the mill. But like Scottsdale, just because of the way it's laid out, it's very long from south to north. So the closer that you get to Tempe and ASU, you start to have more of, more Tempe looking people. So it's a little more fun, a little more seedy, you start getting some dive bars in South Scottsdale.
Yeah. So I've been out there, like I said, a couple times, and I didn't mind it, but at the same time, I was out there once in August, and it was like 118 degrees when I left.
In August though, so that probably been around the monsoon season, so that probably have some humidity in there too.
I just know it was hotter than fuck. Everyone's like, oh, it's a dry heat out here. I was like, it's 118 degrees and I am still sweating. So it's not very dry.
Yeah, dry heat, still heat, know. And I guess people think it's cute to say that. It's not like it's not been said for the last 15 years by people.
It was strange to me though, like the swimming pools and out there, like I don't know if it was just because of how hot it was in the air to get into a pool, but like I felt like I was freezing when I got into a swimming pool and the temperatures of the water was like 80 something degrees. I was like, it's like an ice cube. It's probably because the fucking air out there is almost 120 and I'm getting into like an 80-degree pool, 40-degree difference.
Yeah, the wind blows and it feels like you just opened up an oven, Yeah. I mean, but that's kind of the thing, to do during the summer times is have a swimming pool or a friend with a swimming pool.
There's just too many people for me.
What's that?
There's just too many people out there for me.
Yeah, well,
I just remember being little and living out there for a little bit. Like I just remember the mountain ranges. This was Tucson. And then there was a theme park that's apparently still there. And I'm like, man, I should make a trip out there to go to this theme park and see the mountains and then try to go to every like little site from the movie The Wraith with Charlie Sheen, because that movie was filmed. That movie was filmed in that area.
Right.
I'm like, and that's a cool movie. Anyway.
I don't know about a theme park in Tucson.
It's called like the old Tucson town. It's like a town, and they have like, I remember they do like little skits, cowboy shoots and shit, and I think it's still there, but like it looks like an old town, like a
kind of old west town,
and like some movies have been made there. Like I think that one really famous cowboy movie was filmed there, a couple of them. because they use
Tombstone?
this. Yeah, Tombstone was filmed there, I believe, and then I think in a couple other ones, but it's called Old Tucson, I think.
Oh,
Pretty sure.
okay.
I
Yeah.
there's a haunted place out there, or a haunted town. I think it's called Jerome. I've been there.
Oh
Mm,
yeah. Jerome's way cool town, dude. Very,
mm.
very cool. Yeah, it's said to be haunted, and
Mm.
I never experienced any weird stuff, but there's
Yeah.
a famous person that has a winery in that town. So,
Hmm.
a gentleman that sings for a band, you know, oh, am I allowed to say the band's name?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Tool. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, Maynard has a little like winery tasting room in downtown Jerome.
That's weird.
It has like a little record store in the very basement too. It's pretty darn cool.
I think I
oh,
was out there in 2007 or 2008. So I don't know if it's been there at that point, but
I think it's a little more recent than that, but yeah, he's got into making wine, and that's like one of the few regions in Arizona, especially that far north. Usually, like the grapes grow better in like southeastern Arizona, like closer to like New Mexico,
hmm,
which you wouldn't even guess. Thinking Arizona would be like, oh, you guys grow grapes there? How the fuck does that work?
I just think of cactus.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's the end game when you're famous is to have your own winery, kind of like the guy from Queensryche has one too.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know
like
that one.
I think so.
And aren't those guys like coming through
Yeah,
town?
actually, yeah, I actually saw the flyer. They're actually coming to Plymouth also.
Okay.
It's like just like Megadeth is coming to Plymouth. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to that racetrack for the concerts now because our county fair doesn't get shit. How come this little dumpy ass fucking racetrack gets all these random bands?
Blueberries.
Or I don't even know how that's possible because they don't even charge for parking some places. There's something up. There's got to be something going on in that area about how they raise money for these shows.
So front for the mafia.
Yeah, it could be like they. I don't. That's a good theory. I figure Brandon would know because he's kind of like out that way, but he's not. So I don't know. No, you're.
All right.
I think you're closer to Plymouth than I am.
Yeah, you're right. I've lied. Well, and that little there's that gray area of like
We might be in the
where I'm
happy
at.
happy medium.
Yeah, like between Indy and like where I live, like I feel like right there is like no man's land. I don't know what goes on. I know there's an Air Force base, and then there's where you live, and there's strip clubs and whatever. But I just I don't. I think there's hidden things down in the middle of the state of Indiana.
The Air
Just
Force Base is about 10 miles south of me.
I thought it was closer. I don't know why.
No, I think it's about 10 miles, 9 or 10 miles.
Uh,
But Plymouth is about 50 something miles north of me.
oh, is it really?
Yeah.
See, in my head, it feels closer. Like he's describing Arizona, like the towns are close, but when you look at the state, it's fucking huge.
Yeah, and they're
Oh.
not close.
No, they're not close
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
they're few and far between, man.
Right, and then there's like desert between there, so there's like a lot of people that try to make it and ran out of water. Now they're all, dead.
Yeah. I made the drive from Indiana to Arizona back in 17. And
It's a drive.
Yeah, we didn't stay in a motel, slept in the car a few hours at a gas station at a time, and then yeah, it was a long ass drive, and I just remembered driving through Texas was probably one of the most boring fucking parts of the drive.
Oh, did you go through the Panhandle or?
I really don't remember. It was the northern part of Texas. It was the northern part of Texas. We come through Oklahoma, then through Texas, then New Mexico.
Okay, yeah. So like Amarillo, I think is.
Yeah, I think we did go by that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I did that drive back in not this past April, the one prior. So a friend had a wedding out in Arizona, so yeah, like you said, it was like basically I was just stopping at like rest areas just to sleep, and yeah, but basically, what's that?
on the way home, I think it was Colorado, or I got on this road and there was literally like 60 miles of no exit. It didn't feel like it was just like a single straight road and there was no houses. And I don't remember what it was. It's the way fucking GPS took me. And there was no lights, there's no towns, and I was afraid we're gonna run out of gas or
Huh.
I had no idea. I was like, I just want to get somewhere I can get back to a normal road. This is supposed to be the shortest route, and I don't know what the fucking road is. It's a complete pitch black out. There's no lights. So,
Yeah. Well, Colorado seems a little out of the way.
well, my plan was to hit different states that I hadn't been to.
Oh, gotcha.
So I hadn't been through Colorado, so I wanted to drive through the Rockies, which it was nice to see, but it is what it is. Like I just want to knock off states that I hadn't been to.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, Colorado's got some beautiful stuff, man. Like, yeah, we'd go up there and party every so often.
Hmm.
You know, Fort Collins especially, it's like gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like a venue west of Fort Collins called the Mishawaka, which was kind of crazy because there's a town in Indiana called Mishawaka.
Is it
Like-
disappointing like ours?
No, absolutely not.
See, there's a difference. You're right.
Yeah, it's like the little Boulder Creek that runs like right next to the venue. They got like outdoor theater. Yeah, it's a really cool venue.
Damn. Did you guys ever go to? Did you guys go to the Buc-ee's? I keep hearing these Buc-ee's truck stop stations, and I'm kind of jealous.
I don't remember if I stopped at one or not, but I know
I'm one day I'm gonna find one.
I saw one when we just went to Alabama last summer, or actually about a year ago now. Spring break of last year, we went to Alabama and I seen a Buc-ee's, I think. I don't remember if we stopped there or not. I have been to the world's biggest truck stop up on 80. I don't remember exactly where it's at, but I know I stopped there at one point.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I could say I was on tour and saw all of this shit, but it wasn't. It was just road trips.
Right.
But, well.
Did you guys ever get the tour?
I did not. I just got on Weekend Warrior stuff.
I wouldn't call it tours.
Yeah.
I've been gone for like 5 days. That's the longest I'd been away on playing shows.
Right.
So,
I mean, if we had like a gig in Flagstaff, one in Phoenix and one in Tucson, we'd call that a tour.
That's okay.
Long ass drives between each show.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we went from Fort Wayne to Lima, Ohio, to northern part of Michigan, over to Illinois, and back to Indiana. And then we ended up not even playing the Michigan show because we drove all the way up there, and the place, it was like the second day of some biker festival, and they were already closing up when we got there. I was like, we're supposed to be playing. They're like, oh, we're done for the day. I was like, what the fuck? We drove for 8 fucking hours to get up here.
Oh.
Yikes.
I wasn't real happy about that. And then we drove over to Illinois. I really don't remember if that show happened either, to be honest. And we played the Monday in Kokomo. But we started out Friday night, or Thursday night, we played in Fort Wayne. Friday night, we played in Lima. Saturday, we drove to Michigan, didn't play. And then Sunday, we're supposed to play in Illinois. And I don't remember if we actually played that one or not. And I know we played Monday in Kokomo. And then that was the end of the touring for me. I was like, I'm not driving all over the fucking place to play these shows, and they're not even gonna let us know that there is no fucking show going on.
Yeah, that would be disheartening.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's one time my old band, we drove up to Illinois for like this quote metal fest, and we were playing like on the second night. And we drove up there. I guess they had the first night, and I think it was Clint, a previous guest. I think his band played the first night, and then his guitarist had warned us, like, don't do it. It's not worth it. So we went up there and like we waited at the venue or bar, whatever the fuck it was, and like the doors were locked. So then all these bands are showing up, and we're all trying to call somebody, and this real nice lady who seemed to know who put it together, she's some gothic chick. Well, the lady wasn't gothic, it's the other lady that put it together. And this lady was talking to us, and I called her on the phone, and it's like, hey, what's going on here? And then her, I guess, boyfriend, husband was like yelling at the lady. He's like, "You fucking bitch! You're supposed to be here. This is your fucking show." I'm like, "Holy shit, he's intense." I like, well, yeah, yelling at the other lady. And I guess it got canceled. So we drove all the way up to like Illinois, kind of by, is it O'Hare Airport? I always get them confused. Anyway, we went to like a no show. We just hung out, went to a deep dish pizza place, drove home. Whatever. I mean, that's just the kind of shit that you'll run into where like it's so disorganized in a way that they could have at least told the bands. And probably the first night was a flop, and then she just put her tail between her legs and hid.
No.
I don't know, man. It's oh man, that shit drives anybody nuts. Yeah.
The fun part about the Michigan shit not happening was when we came back because we went up there with 2 other bands, and we're driving down. I think it was 69, maybe. I don't know. And the other band, one of the bands, drove up next to us, and I just happened to look over. I'm in the passenger seat and look over. And there's this big white ass hanging out the fucking window. They're driving down 65, mooning us as they go past us. I was like, "Hey, I made up for the day. I guess I haven't been mooned before, so that was the first time." Big old white ass hanging out the window.
Nice.
We were hoping. Well, I won't say we, but it was disgustingly hilarious if he'd actually shit while he had his ass out the window. I was like, that's pretty fucking gross, but at this point, nothing would have surprised me. That was like our tour from hell. But
how would you even handle that, man? Like crapping while you're mooning somebody?
I don't know. I'd get stage fright. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just the cleanup after that too. That's how awful.
Yeah, I'd be a little mad. Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It would just be very. I don't know if the guy in the back window had his window down, it flies through the window, hits the other guy in the face.
My body goes into weird like shutdown modes if I'm in some place I'm not familiar, and sometimes I'll like hold it, and it won't go for days. I don't know why. I mean, it's the Michigan air, but I feel like every time I go to Michigan, I have like.
I'm that
I don't
way
know.
too, though.
I don't. Maybe this nerves. I don't even know. I had no reason to be nervous because we were staying at like a family's house that we normally stay at. And I'm like, why am I plugged up?
It's in the mind. I'm the same way. I like to shit on my own toilet.
So yeah, so I don't think I could survive a tour because I'd be like inflated full of shit. Like I don't want to be going to the ER because of like I don't know, like sepsis,
compacted colon or something.
Yeah, like sepsis, right? Is that what happens when you like? Oh, yeah, like I don't.
I mean, I'm an infection, isn't it?
Yeah, like if like it just maybe that is. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if my body would have survived a longer tour than that. I'm too old for that, but I always wondered like what would happen. You know?
All I know is we were riding 6 deep in a fucking pickup truck, like a early 90s Chevy pickup truck, so it could fit 6, and we were fucking jam packed in there with a damn trailer that said fart and turd on the side of it.
Oh, the trailer.
Yeah, so the trail turd. And we were that's all I really remember about it. The shows, I don't really remember a whole lot about the shows besides a couple instances, but I remember we were having fun just being out on the road. And then I could not do it though. If it was something that I had to do be gone for like a month straight, being jam packed in a vehicle like that, I'm claustrophobic as it is. I don't like being compacted that much. So I'd stress out. I know I would.
I mean, well, I guess like if it was like back in the day and they take care of you and you had like everything paid for and not to worry, like I think I'd probably relax more. But when you're in a small time band, you got to worry about the next night, getting paid gas, eating. I mean, you could probably eat like little things if you wanted to, but then your sleep's all thrown off. Somebody's got to drive. I don't know. I'm not complaining too much, but I'm past the age where I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Sorry.
So I can't even really say it was a tour because we started off in Fort Wayne, then we came home that Thursday, and then we left Friday and drove to Lima, and we stayed in Ohio, and then we drove all the way to Michigan the next day, and then from Michigan we just drove back to Indiana, and I stayed at home, and then went to Illinois the next day, and then came back, and then went to Kokomo. So
Right.
we weren't even really gone consistently. So,
But I imagine like some other bands are currently like doing this though, and like still doing it. And it's like good for them, you know. I don't.
you know,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't envy anyone that does it. I'm kind of jealous because I kind of would like to have experienced that, but at the same time, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it. So, I guess if the shows were cool and met some cool people along the way, it'd been one thing, but riding six deep in a pickup truck was not real fun.
Right. And then you could have car problems in the middle of nowhere. I think that terrifies me too, because then you're stuck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then you're stuck with like
Yeah.
thousands of dollars worth of gear behind you. You don't know if someone's going to rob your trailer.
Yep.
So that
Yeah.
seems to be a issue to some bands that someone steals their entire fucking trailer. But
I would get electric fence on everything. Or like
someone would just have to sleep in the trailer with a gun.
that would be cool as long as they don't pass out like from heat exhaustion or something
Yeah.
crazy, you know. That'd be kind of terrifying because like at a bump you'd hit, probably be like, oh, I don't know.
I'm not saying ride it. I'm just saying at nighttime.
Yeah. Well,
Get one of those extended trailers where you can put some bunk beds in it.
Okay, you're right. I would probably be the guy in the trailer. I'm gonna give a fuck. I just turn on my sleep noise app and just hear a fan, you know, the whole time.
As long as it's not freezing out or not, you're not in Arizona at 118-degree weather.
Right. What's that meat smell? Oh, it must be barbecue. Oh no, it's Jed. We left him inside the fucking trailer. It cooked him alive.
Put a blanket down.
Oh shit.
All right.
Be good.
Well, Mark,
I guess, yeah.
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry I didn't have more stories for you, but
That's
I
all
feel
good.
I feel like we like
Okay.
took up your time accidentally, but
oh, no worries, man. You guys are got a good thing going on here.
yeah.
We usually ask if you have any recent music, and if you do, we always play a song at the end from one of your most recent outings. So, do you have anything that you would want to share?
Yeah, I think I got something on my SoundCloud that we could probably use,
Okay,
and it won't get you in any trouble.
well, that's fine. You can send an email, send it in that email, and then I'll add it to the end of the episode.
All right, sounds like a plan, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate
All right.
it.
You guys have a great night, man.
Yep, you too.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
And on that note, anyone out there listening, if you'd like to be on a future episode of Dark Side of the Scene, get on here and talk with Ed and I. Send an email to brandon@darksideofthescene.com. We'll get you scheduled for a future episode. But we're going to roll out on this one, so take it easy.
1383, runway 27, clear takeoff. United 15.